Labeled as a trailblazer who is always incepting new and fresh ideas, Farzana Mayet is a fearless go-getter that is not afraid to take risks and considers Panache as her third baby, often burning the midnight oil, juggling the many different facets of Panache. It is with this passion that Panache has grown exponentially. She is a true extrovert who believes in the hands-on approach, so be it an international Bollywood concert or a fundraising banquet. Farzana has always remained as a go-to person with an open door policy and freely communicates at any given time with patrons alike. Her humility has often been praised by many who always find her as the CEO so easy to get hold of. And yes, on that note, Assalamu alaikum and Jazakallah for making time for us this morning, Farzana.
Walaikum salam, Najma. It's always a pleasure to be speaking to you. And assalamu alaikum to the wonderful listeners of Salam Media.
Welcome to the program. I know very quickly, I think it was just before Ramadan that we spoke to you. It was about the Men of Valour Awards, and it was a quick 15-minute interview. And I'm sure that during that time, although you are well known, it's important to know the person behind the brand. And also, we use this segment, Farzana, to inspire and motivate. And I'm just so glad to have you on today, just to give you, I just thought about it while I was introducing you when I had Dr. Fatima Lambert on my show last week. And, just the coincidence now that I have two amazing women now, one after the other, who are from Lenasia. And
Oh,
I think, just so proudly so, because we feature people from all over the world. And it just so happens,
okay.
we've picked our cherries from our local community. So I'm actually very glad that we've managed to do this today. So Fazana, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. Where did you grow up? Where did you school?
Okay, I'm a proud Lenasia girl, born and brought up in Lenasia itself. My schooling was in Park Primary. I still have much contact with my teachers. High school was spent in Lenasia Secondary. I think that's where I discovered my extrovert nature, because it was wonderful teachers that, were within my midst that really groomed me to be the person that I am today. The principal, Madam Hava Munshi, she was an instrumental woman as well that played a big, big role, in grooming me to the woman that I am today. So schooling was done in Lenasia Secondary School as well. And after that, I was employed by communication giants, Telcom. And from there, I decided to, once the packages came out, I decided to stay at home with my kids and to be a full-time mom. But destiny had its other callings, and I used to often be asked, to cater for small events, seeing my passion and my love for people. That's the birth of Panache in 2015, and the rest, they say, is history. Panache then started to cater for fundraising events, banquets. We then branched off to edutainment, where that's very much still a big passion, kiddies edutainment, and move on to international Bollywood concerts. But my baby remains the Woman of Wonder and Man of Valor Awards. This is something that I solely love. And as you've introduced me with my introduction, that Panache is my third baby. Yes, it is. I treat it like my third baby, often burning the midnight oil to get Panache to where it is today. So in simple terms, Farzana is a plain down, a simple wife, mother, daughter, sister, a woman that loves uplifting other people, a woman that loves to be that woman that believes in the pull her up syndrome, a woman that wants to believe that, she's taken an introverted person and made her dreams come true in a small way. So that's
Mm.
about it in a nutshell.
Right. I love the whole theme behind why you developed the Woman of Wonder Awards. But before we go into that, you mentioned being a mum and a wife. And you've prioritized, of course, in that regard, because you left your employment and you were a stay-at-home mum. Um, that role, it becomes sometimes when we speak to successful people, men or women, I think we somehow not ignore, but I think we just give less importance to the role of a parent or a wife or a husband. And yet I know without, it goes without saying, that I'm sure that's your priority. So tell us a little bit about being a mum.
Okay, that is one of my most fulfilling, one of my most enriching roles. And I'm so thankful to the Almighty that He has granted me the pleasure of being a mom to two beautiful children. I've got a son who's 22 years old. I've got a daughter that's 15 years old. They often are my backbone. They always have been. And in the initial stages of me starting off Panache, as any successful woman in business or career wise will tell you, the apprehension, the anxiety is there because you obviously have to, you're boldly stepping into something that is uncharted. But the role of a mother is such that it comes naturally. You obviously
True.
want to give your children the best. You want to inculcate the best values within your children. You want to make sure that they go out there and they are the best, role models to others. So I think being a mom, it didn't come with any challenges to say, when starting off Panache. Uh, my kids, I have always been very, very independent. They've got their own personalities, and as such, that has helped me, to grow the brand very much so, Najma, because, once they are independent and, tend to be their own people, you as a mom tend to be a bit more comfortable. That being
True.
said, with kids, you've got to give them that priority. I think that still remains one of my top priorities, be it in any sphere of business, whatever spectrum that I may be busy with. But should my kids need me, they take priority over everything else.
Yes.
Even at my events, you may have seen that my family plays a huge role. I
Mm.
tend to not let my staff even, play that hands-on role in my events, and I tend to have my family there more often because I think it's a family business. It's a family thing that we tend to do together, and we love it. We really, really do love it. So I think, having your kids being involved in everything that you do, I think that's
Right.
that's that's the foundation of something so wonderful. It cannot even be explained.
Right. And I think that's when you setting the example. They've watched you grow from nothing to something. And the determination, the hard work, the time, the sacrifices, all of that they are witnessing, which is amazing. So unwittingly or consciously setting an example, which is amazing to have them involved. So what you're saying is very important. And then in terms of support, who is or what is it that gives you that backbone to say, okay, I can do this?
It's got to be my husband. He's been the backbone from the beginning. I must tell you, I mentioned in the starting when you asked who is Farzana, and I so proudly said, I decided because I was traveling extensively in my previous job, and I decided to go cold turkey. Decided all of a sudden I'm leaving everything behind. I need to concentrate on bringing up my son Muhammad. He had just started preschool. And I used to be so involved in his learning, Najma. I can't tell you. Every moment when my husband would come home from work, I would excitedly tell him about the extracurricular activities like the spelling bee that Mohammed's been selected into. And my husband would look at me and say, okay, but what about Farzana? What is Farzana doing for Farzana? I said, no, time for Farzana will come once Mohammed finishes school. At that time, my daughter wasn't born. And my
Mm,
husband looked at me and said, "Don't wait for your dreams to be realized, and don't focus everything on Muhammad. That's not healthy. I want you to be out there. I know this. I know you love being a mom, but I know you're destined for so much more."
excellent.
And he was actually the starting point of Panache. He said, "Whatever it is, just don't stop. I know that you're destined for much greater things, and I'm here, whatever you need." um, Up until this day, whenever I'm scared or apprehensive or, want to start something new, as you've said, trailblazing with something new, a new ideology or inventing a new concept, and he's the first one that will say, go for it. There's nothing, if you're not going to try, you're never going to know if you could succeed or not. So up until
Right.
this day, he's been my biggest support. My parents have always been there, but you know, how dads are. My father initially, when I started off Panache, he said, "No, I think it's a male-dominated industry. You know, you're going into promotions, and you rather sit at home." He wanted me to be comfortable, and he was very much happy that his daughter was at home, in a safe zone.
Right.
My mom, on the other hand, I must tell you, she and my husband were very, very supportive,
Excellent.
extremely supportive in saying, my mom said, if anybody can do it, it's you. I know you're going to achieve it. So please go.
Wonderful. Now, you alluded to your teachers and specifically the principal that you were under at the time. Would you say that those, when you say that's when the confidence was built or you discovered your extrovert personality, we'll talk about your confidence building and who contributed to that after this break.
The disadvantaged and empowering through education and dawah. Donate to the SADN centers, the MA Mutala Islamic Center, as well as our Islamic centers in Amoti, Imtalumi, Bochabelo, and Castile. Donate your zakat and lillah today. Contact Farooq Sheikh 076 321 0650, Yusuf Mohammadi 072 259 3457, or the SADN head office 031 304 8000. Our account, Standard Bank, account number 050 856 294 for your zakat, or 050 879 790 for your lillah. Dawah through education, education through dawah, the Southern Africa Dawah Network.
Share the love this Eid by donating to the Eid Dream campaign with Penny Appeal South Africa. Join us for the 5th consecutive year of providing joy and happy faces for Eid by gifting an Eid box to an orphaned or vulnerable child. For just 400 Rand, you can be the reason they smile. Donate today, www.pennyappeal.org.za, or contact 063 293 8737 for more information. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
In the aftermath of the tragic earthquakes in Syria and Turkey, thousands of survivors are struggling and in need of food, shelter, and life-saving aid. This Ramadan, take a closer look at the countless lives that have been turned upside down. You have the power to help. Your donation is the lifeline, a beacon of hope in an otherwise hopeless situation. Please donate today. Visit donate.unhcr.org/RamadanZA.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. So don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031 202 4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust. Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
So Farzana Mayet is our very special guest in our profile interview. Farzana, before the break, I spoke a little bit about self-confidence and building confidence. We know that people around us, especially the closest people around us, help to build our confidence from a very young age, actually. But how much of that attribute do we give to ourselves? That quality do we give to ourselves? And how is it that we actually build that? And I think also speaking about the women of wonder, and well, I suppose when I speak about that, it's also the men of valor, but specifically because you're so interested and passionate about uplifting women, knowing that they, sometimes are, and we know, marginalized and have this image of themselves that's not healthy. So you've put that, I think, very much into why you've developed this particular concept for women to actually understand how strong and confident they are. But somehow I get the sense that it's you that actually went through that in some way and had to build um, who you are today. So, yeah, how did all that happen?
Okay, post primary school, I was a very, very introverted individual. I would be by myself. I had two friends, and I really would sit in the class and be that learner who would, be her, do her work and do all the homework, do everything diligently, and go home. I wouldn't really want to socialize much. Even at home, I would be involved in all my novels and reading. I loved reading. I love reading to this day. I find the time to make the time to read. I just love it. So a lot of my time went into reading, and came high school. I was dreading it. I'll be honest. I was really dreading it, thinking that how am I going to make this adjustment? Because, you have this perception of high school being all noisy and, bullying and things like that happening. I went into high school. I met, my friends. We formed a bond. But the most important bond, I think, came from the teachers, because I think they then mold you. Anyone will tell you, your teachers what they inculcate within you makes or break you
Correct.
as an adult. And along came Madam Munshi, along came other few teachers, but I must admit, Madam Munshi was one of those teachers that would say, Farzana, come in front of the class, Farzana, explain to the class. And, I would enjoy it so much. Then I realized,
Mm.
wow, I love to speak to other people, I think I
Mm.
need to try this. It's quite exciting. And that was it. It was then recognized as 10 at 6 when we started high school. So the journey just became so much more easier. It became, then I was the class noisiest one, making, often not making trouble, but obviously, not stopping to chat. Madam
Right.
Munshi unleashed something within me that I never knew I had. So she'd call
Right.
me out in front of the class, and, often on class picnics, I didn't want to go. I used to tell my dad, tell him you don't give me permission. And he used to say, please just go and go and partake in these things. And I often used to say, I don't want to. And I remember the one excursion where we were due to go, and I came with the note, and she picked up the phone and phoned my dad, and she said, no, please allow her to come. I want her to be there. And that was one excursion I remember I will never forget, because I had the most fun. And I think,
Ah,
on those excursions as such, as parents, we often think, I'm a parent now, so I know, we think that, oh my word, children are going to get up to mischief. What are they going to do? And but it was such a big learning curve, like a team building thing, so to say, that it molded and it brought out something in me that I never knew I had. Post that, I think the rest is history. I knew I loved communicating people, but one thing that really stood out very solely for me was, kids being bullied, and then children being, introverted and sitting in one corner. I know it came, like you said, I was one of those children. Often I wasn't bullied, thankfully. But the thing is, we tend to be in our own skin. We tend to be comfortable, but once I found that calling and I said, okay, fine, I love to be around people. I decided that I want to make other people feel better about themselves. Um, and
yeah.
that's how, once the opportunity presented itself with the Woman of Wonder Awards, Najma, as you've mentioned, I'd like to touch on something,
Certainly.
prominent women that we have awarded. We've awarded, alhamdulillah, over 900 women
Wow.
to date and counting. The thing is, prominent women who you'd never believe, the emails that we receive from them are often some women getting abused, some women not self-confident enough, some women, never believing that they can achieve, but trying in their small way. And by us taking notice and acknowledging them and acknowledging that small achievement, the emails and the phone calls and the WhatsApp messages that we get is just amazing. I can't tell you how heartfelt that is, because it often leaves us in tears here, because we think that, many often perceive these awards, okay, it's glitzy, it's glamorous, it's recognizing women, but nobody thinks of the in-depth,
Yes.
intention behind it, and that is to recognize women that, are often, we don't know what they're going through. We don't know what anyone's going through in their lives. What you see is often the cover that people present and they'd like you to see. But with the Women of Wonder Awards, the emails that we receive post the event, because we always really, really incept and inculcate that women need to network, they need to collaborate, they need to be each other's biggest support. And that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I stand by. I always say competition is dead, collaboration is key. Please pull the next woman up. I mean, I never had a woman, so to say, when I started off Panache, and that's a very important factor of why also Panache grew and expanded. It's one of my very, very closest friends, who's the chairman of the Women of Wonder now, Mr. Valley, who said to me, if anyone can do it as well, it's you. I'm behind you. I'm backing you with whatever you decide, because I believe in you. And
Excellent.
I never had a woman, so to say, that, let me assist you. I think I would like to believe that women want to support each other, but with me, it never happened. It really never happened. I felt women were very threatened, I would say, or felt that, she's going to come into our space. She's a bit too over ambitious. And what then?
Right.
So I wanted to be that woman, to say to other women that, listen, I'm there, I'm here, whatever help you need, whatever assistance you need. We are here as Women of Wonder. Collaborate with the other ladies. I really encourage them to email one another, take their emails, take their phone numbers, phone each other, see how better you can grow each other's brands, whatever your brand is. So, I think it's very important in that aspect as well. And then we introduce the wowcations as well, where women go on vacations, and the bonding, Najma. I can't tell you how instrumentally important that was for certain women to really break out of their shell and, post the vocation, come to me and say, I never knew I had this in me, but thank you for bringing this out. I think that tops anything. The reactions, the emails, the messages from these women. And like I said, certain women, you would never believe they're going through what they're going through, but, they present themselves in such a well presented way, but inside, they needed that extra boost, that extra,
It's
I think,
validation. It's validation, hey, Farzana. And I think that's what the awards do. And I agree with you in terms of yes, glitz and glamour. And sometimes we just want to stay in the background and not let anyone know what we're doing. We're not actually working towards something in order to get recognized and achieve an award. But when it does happen, personally, it is a wonderful way to actually validate people. But what I want to know from you is, how did you overcome that? Because of course there were challenges in the beginning. Of course you didn't have the right amount of support. You might have had financial challenges, as it were. But there's this commitment and this risk taker that I'm interested in, because you've developed this concept into a business. And I think that's where it's important for us who would hesitate to take that one small step, and which leads then into the bigger steps. So I'm not quite sure if we're going for a break now. Yeah, we are. And then after that, I'd love to know how you took that risk.
Your zakat can help feed an orphan, support a widow, build a home for a refugee family, sponsor a HIF student, and much more. With Ashraful Aid, you can make a real difference. Visit our website at www.ashrafulaid.org to make a donation. Make your Ramadan meaningful with Ashraful Aid.
At Sentio, our Invest for Good philosophy is based on a genuine desire to use our investment skills for the benefit of broader society by investing responsibly, giving charitably, and developing talent that will transform the investment industry. Visit www.sentio-capital.com for more information about our Sharia investment products and start saving with us today. Sentio Capital. Invest for good. Sentio Capital Management is an authorized financial services provider.
No one knows which night is the night of power, but we do know there is great power in generosity. When times are hard, Allah give. When we are sick, give. And if we want more wealth, we should give. That's the power of generosity. Give generously in these last 10 nights. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Looking to earn inflation-beating income? Agraria Sustainability Engineered, Africa's first publicly traded Sharia-compliant sukuk on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, provides regulated and transparent access to superior and sustainable investment opportunities in the agriculture value chain. Agrarius is brought to you by 274, leaders in Sharia-compliant investing. Don't get left behind. WhatsApp 011 442 2467 or visit 274.com for more. 274 Investment Managers is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
When someone is down in the world, surviving on the smallest means possible, an ounce of help is better than a pound of preaching. Strong people don't put others down. They lift them up. We cannot do all the good the world needs now. The world just needs all the good that you can muster. Your compassion could break 100 chains of poverty. Spend for Allah Ta'ala's sake. Have hope in His reward. Support the Al-Fida Foundation in our every effort to lift people towards success and financial independence. Visit our website at www.alfida.co.za or give us a call at 041 484 1288.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
When we described Farzana Mayet in the introduction of the program, I did say that Farzana Mayet is the fearless go-getter that is not afraid to take risks. What makes for this fearless go-getter? Let's learn from her, Farzana.
Okay. I'm going to start from the starting, and I'm going to, take you right back to when Panache was registered. It was March 13th, 2015, believe it or not. It was a Friday. It was Jummah. I remember waking up and making my salah and my tahajjud and asking Allah for guidance. And Najma, I must touch on the topic that we had chosen names. I can't remember the names that I chose, but I have no idea how the name Panache ended up on that paper. If you ask me to this day, I have no recollection of what made me write Panache on the letter to register the company. Driving back from the office, I'm making dua. It's obviously just before Jummah, and I'm making dua. I said, Allah, guide me. I'm so scared. I'm really very, very scared. And there was a truck that passed me by, and it had a quote of Virgin Atlantic CEO, Mr. Richard Branson, that said, always take the risks and ask questions later.
Wow.
So that's something that has stood by me, believe it or not, up until this day. 8 years later, it's still something that whenever I'm asked to do something, I will answer yes to any opportunity that presents itself. I will then stress later. My family will tell you, I'll then come home, I'll cry. It's only human. I'm only human. So I'll cry, I'll be scared. The anxiety sets in. How am I going to pull this off? Is it something that I want to do? Is it something? But I'll always say yes first. And Alhamdulillah, the Almighty has guided me and protected me and allowed me to take those risks. But yes, the apprehension, the fear is there. But if you're a risk taker, nobody is a risk taker. But if you never ask, remember one thing to anyone who's listening to me, if you never ask, the answer's always going to be no. If you don't take the risk, you're never going to, to the end of the line or to the end of your life, believe that if you had taken that risk, what if it had been a positive outcome? And I don't want to be sitting one day on my deathbed saying that, certain opportunities presented itself and I didn't take the risk, whatever the outcome. Nothing is guaranteed in life. And that's something that I believed in from day one. Yes, nothing is guaranteed in life. The success of anything is not guaranteed. It's not going to be a guaranteed success. There's not going to be a guaranteed positive at everything that you're going to try, but rather try and fail than not try at all.
And what
And
happens
that's
when
what
one? Sorry, go ahead.
Gee, so I feel that, and there has been times, I've taken certain risks in this past 8 years, be it, in my concerts or anything, and the outcome hasn't been that wonderful. I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be, so to say, another Panache sold out spectacular, or, things don't always happen often the way you perceive it to be. But you need to take it in your stride. One of the most important things I need to add is also having a thick skin in the business. You need to really, really be open to anything that comes your way. Develop a really thick skin and develop that attitude and that mental capacity to say, I'm focused on my goals and ambition. I'm not worried about the noise of the outside world. I'm focused on what I need to be. I know my authenticity. I know the kind of person that I am, and I know in what I'm believing in and what's my end goal. So I know you wanted to ask me, what if you fail? What if you take a risk and you fail? You've then tried. I think we all then put it down as school fees. But if you've tried something and you failed, it's just a learning curve. I don't believe that it's a failure. I don't regard it as a failure. I regard it as a learning curve of how then to approach the matter differently at the next time should an opportunity present itself. So I don't utilize that word failure at all. I say, okay, fine, we get up, we dust ourselves, it's a learning curve. For the next thing, the next biggest or next best thing. I think the mental, the mental capacity and the positive attitude and the mindset that one has to inculcate in any business often brings about positive outcomes, because you never ever believing or never negative in your business, or never negative in what you're feeling that's going to be the outcome. You're always believing that, okay, fine, there's going to be something good. I need to give grace and give thanks to the Almighty for what has presented itself my way, but how can I better it? If it doesn't work, okay, well, there's a next time. There's always a next time. And trust me, there's always going to be a next time where you are going to shine. Take it from me. There's never a time where the Almighty is going to leave your hand and leave you alone standing. You're trying, and that's most important.
Have you faced criticism?
Many a times. And, it's something that, like I said, it makes you grow. It makes you grow as an individual. It really allows you to be very much, I don't know, it makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I think it's something that's very, very important to any woman out there who, like me, was a housewife. I mean, obviously, she worked at a corporate field. She then became a housewife. She then decided to venture into something totally different, totally out of my comfort zone. That wasn't something that I think this was, my calling. It was something that I was destined by the Almighty to do. But I never, anytime you face criticism for any woman in anything that you're trying to do, dust yourself off. Like I said, develop that thick skin that, I'm focused on my goal. I know myself. I know my intentions. I know why I'm doing this. And the rest, they say, is history. Those who know you, know you.
Right. And in terms of, when we spoke about how you've developed your confidence and the intention behind the concept of the woman of wonder, but how does one, when you speak about uplifting women and you developing their whatever is innate in them, in fact, right? How did you then grow this to the level that it has? And did you, in terms of the brand expanding from just a local community event to provincial, and now you're sitting at an international level?
Okay, so I think that the vision and intention was always pure. If you're asking me how did it grow, I was asked recently that question by a publication where they wanted to publish, the success of the Woman of Wonder. And I reflected upon, and this is something for listeners that may have not heard it before. I'd like to just go back on it. We started off in August 2015 in a very small community hall called Beit Nur in Lenasia. We had around 100 to 150 to 200 guests, if my memory serves me correct. We awarded ladies and women that are really achieving. And from that, I think word of mouth spread to that extent, Najma. I think that it just catapulted the Woman of Wonder brand to something of a soon to be, I would love to believe, a global status, because from national we were then asked and inundated with mails to please bring it to Durban, to please bring it to Cape Town. From there we then took it to Dubai, Mauritius, soon to be the UK, India, Qatar. I think that, the vision and intention has always been one thing and one thing alone: to make every woman love themselves unconditionally. I think for us women, it's so important. And that's one of the most important things I tell any woman of wonder that may come to me and send me those emails and say, thank you so much for believing in me. I never knew I had this. I said, if you love yourself, please love yourself. The most important person you need to do in any relationship is love yourself first. Because if you love yourself first, you're going to be loving everything and everyone around you.
And whilst we're doing this, in terms of gender equality, women's rights, a lot of that sort of comes to the fore during these awards. Perhaps women talking about their challenges in their speeches, in their when they're receiving their awards. And you've mentioned some that would actually tell you that privately, but we also know there's that a positive side to the male counterpart, if you like. And I'm not talking about the male, the Men of Valor Award. This is what you described as in your personal life, where your husband was there to give you that support, and one needs that. So we complement each other. And I like using these opportunities, firstly, of course, to uplift women, like you say, and also to recognize the fact that we have our place in society equally as men. But at the same time, we also need to recognize the fact that the men, our male counterparts, if you like, are there to complement that, to complement and uplift as well. How have you inculcated that concept into your Women of Wonder awards?
There has been something that has been somewhat of a great learning curve, I would say, for us as Women of Wonder, because we often, like you said, delve into the woman. They personally contact us, tell us about their life stories. But a lot of the women as well, like my story, come forward and say, and at the awards, when receiving the awards, thank their better halves for, making them into what they are today. So we often encourage that in our Women of Wonder. We often tell the ladies, when you thanking, giving your thank you speeches, please thank whoever has been responsible and instrumental in your success. I've been going through it. I've been through it, and I solely believe that the dynamics of my family and the success of my business is where it is today is because my husband wholeheartedly, 500% supported my dreams and my ambitions. He often tells me, I created something that I never thought was there. I created someone that I don't believe that this is my Farzana, but, he wholeheartedly supports, because anything I see, I jump at, and I want that opportunity and I want to seize it. But I think it's very important with the Women of Wonder Awards as well. We encourage our ladies, please thank whoever was there and responsible and instrumental. And that, in fact, Najma, then changes the whole dynamics as well. Because once you see, another lady on stage, thanking her husband, whatever you may be going through in your personal life with whatever, every marriage has its ups and downs. And I've had this one case where one of the ladies we awarded, and that was in the initial stages of the awards functions. And she came up to me after the awards and she said, me and my husband, we are on the brink of divorce, but because so-and-so person thanked their husband, I started to reflect on just what he did for me. And I realized that I was wrong. So there's a lot of changes and dynamics. And I can't tell you how richly rewarding it is. I think that tops it. That's why when you asked me about, Panache, the Woman of Wonder, Men of Valor, I said to you, the Woman of Wonder and Men of Valor always will remain something that is so close to my heart, because it's often people see the awards for what it is. Okay, it's the awards, it's happening, it's done, but they don't see the aftermath of the positivity, the great impact, the self-confidence, the
Yes.
wonderful woman that you're building up. And that to me is so rewarding. I can't even explain to you in words. So with the awards function, yes, we often encourage it, and there's been a lot of changes. I mean, a lot of women that would come on stage. It takes one woman to really passionately thank her better half and say, how he has been there instrumental in the support structure of building her business, her empire, her practice, her career as a teacher. And then you'd see the other ladies come on stage and say, okay, this was totally unprepared, but I think it's very important that, certain person has mentioned their husband, and I need to also do it, because I feel that that's important. We often leave them out, but they're the most important part, because the dynamics of the family would often be in equilibrium and such great positivity for the entire family to coexist if the husband does support the wife wholeheartedly in whatever she is doing.
Wonderful. Let's talk to Farzana after this.
Everything between iftar and sehri makes sunfoil cooking oil an essential part of your Ramadan. Approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a healthy diet, this blessed month, give your family the best with sunfoil, because tradition just tastes better.
In the aftermath of the tragic earthquakes in Syria and Turkey, thousands of survivors are struggling and in need of food, shelter, and life-saving aid. This Ramadan, take a closer look at the countless lives that have been turned upside down. You have the power to help. Your donation is the lifeline, a beacon of hope in an otherwise hopeless situation. Please donate today. Visit donate.unhcr.org/RamadanZA.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight, it's stir fry for dinner. Cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart. And is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan.
Dinner's ready!
Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, which charity is best? He replied, a drink of water.
Africa.
Every day, 2 billion people wake up and have no access to water and sanitation. Sponsor a water well for 14,800 rand, a borehole in Afghanistan for 49,500 rand, or a borehole in Africa for 55,000 rand with Africa Muslims Agency. Give water as a means of Sadaqah Jariyah today. Call AMA on 011 834 8685 or donate online. Africa Muslims Agency, commemorating 35 years of empowering, educating, inspiring.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Are you looking for a cross-border road transport company that is committed in achieving high safety standards, who is fast and efficient, and also excellent customer service? Gardi Global specializes in cross-border transport from South Africa to Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi. Gardi Global, situated at 10 Daniel Road, Benrose, Johannesburg. For inquiries, contact our trained staff on 011 614 3108 or email info@gardiglobal.co.za. Safe long haul into Africa is our business. Gardi Global Transport.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
We are in conversation with Farzana Mayet on Najma Khota show on Salam Media Mid Morning Talk every Mondays between 11 and 1. Farzana, highlight your best experience.
My best experience has been, I think with in terms of the Woman of Wonder, or are you talking about Panache?
Panache.
Okay, my most fulfilling and my most best, I would say, was securing my very first, being a new kid on the block, so to speak, securing my very first international artist. I think when I saw that come to fruition, Najma, when the concert started, and when the artist took to stage, I can't tell you how I cried for a full 15 minutes straight because I couldn't believe that this is me pulling this off. I think that remains one of my most important, most cherished memories, because you touched on previously, the risk taking, how do you coming from something and leaping into something unknown. That has been one of my most fulfilling memories of Panache, securing my very first international artist, seeing that into fruition. And when they took to the stage, I can't tell you the emotions that I experienced. I think, being proud in oneself is always, it's something, it's an unexplainable emotion that, I did this. I finally pulled this off. It was a dream that I thought that was unattainable, but hey, I did it. And then the next one that's most dear to my heart is taking the Woman of Wonder brand international. When we held our first awards before Dubai, we held our first one in Mauritius, and the turnout and the response we received post that was absolutely amazing. And that just gave us the added, I think the added
confidence. Yeah.
Confidence. That's the word I'm looking for, the added confidence to say, you know what, let's try and do better. And let's see how we can take this to more countries. And believe it or not, Qatar happened not because of us. We were invited by Qatar, the UK as well. And India is happening soon as well. So it's just the vision and intention, I must say. And I think that those two remain one of my most cherished memories, because that has helped the Panache brand grow into what it is today.
So, Farzana, what comes to mind when you talk about the places that you've expanded to globally? I think what really comes out of that is meeting all of those people that you come into contact with on a completely different level.
I must say, we just finished our Mauritius one in January, our third annual Mauritius Wow Awards. And that's something, it's really great that you've mentioned personalities, because every lady that came to this awards event, I must tell you, each and every recipient displayed a different personality altogether. They were each of their personalities, their career spectrums, and the way they came across was so different that we had a bit of a tedious task in managing each of them, because every personality was totally different. But I can't tell you, at the end of it, it was so fulfilling and so rewarding that every lady to this date keeps in contact and is so engrossed in really growing the brands and assisting the ladies in South Africa to grow their brands into Mauritius. So it's been amazing. It's a lot of different personalities that we have to deal with, but it's something that we take within our stride. No two people are the same, and I think that makes it more exciting, to communicate and to be in communication and be in interaction with different personalities, from women of different spectrums, and from different parts of the countries as well, of the world. It's really amazing. I think it's really amazing.
The diversity and the different cultures itself is a lesson in itself. I think, you're going in with something to offer, but you get back so much from that. I think that's probably why you're addicted. You just learn so much as you go along. I'm just thinking about the experience itself in terms of this diverse people that you come into contact with. It's amazing. And then, but what about your recognition? Some of your recognition that you've received. I think I follow it, not so, not as in all the time, but I would always look for when Farzana's getting something that she's been recognized for. She's putting everyone else on the pedestal up there. And I've seen you appear on magazine covers and so on. But for you, um, what about your best recognition that you've received? I know it might be difficult to highlight one, but what can you say about it?
I think the most important one, and something I think all the awards and the accolades has been, very much respected by myself. I think when, like you said earlier on, it's always good for people to take notice of what you're doing. We don't do it with the intention of getting recognized. We don't do the work that we do with a vision intention of getting an award. But it's always great to be recognized. And when that happens, it makes you really feel amazing about yourself. So I think one of the great achievements I remember, and that was being recognized and awarded internationally by the Red Blazer. And this is an awards that has awarded the likes of the Queen and a lot of international women that have done really, really great work. So that's something that really stands out for me, given that recognition as well. So, but I hate speaking about my recognitions, because for me, like all the ladies, I think we do what we do because we love what we're doing. We do it with a passion. We do it with such great intention. So, but like you asked, and I mentioned it, one of the ones that really stood out for me was the Red Blazer, because it was an award that is international #1, and it gave recognition to women such as the Queen and a whole lot of other people as well that are really, really doing amazing work. So that's something that I really hold dear to my heart.
Well done to you then. Congratulations. I don't think you hear that often enough, hey? But then it's important that you pat yourself on your back. You need to take your own advice. Pat yourself on the back. It's important, but I'm sure you do in your own way.
Myself.
I see that confidence exuding all the time as you speak, and that in itself is very, inspiring. It is inspiring because you have to be where you're standing. It's difficult to be a leader. It might feel good to be in the position, but at the same time, you're setting examples all the time. So it's a difficult role to be in. And I admire you for that, because now we've learned more about Farzana, which I didn't know about. So, and your sharing has been really, really inspirational, Farzana. There's just one more thing I want to say before we close, that there's a very powerful creative side to what you do. And I think a lot of people would always think or feel that it's maybe an academic that would be able to achieve certain success in our lives, but the creative side is just as important. And I'm just seeing that there's a very powerful creative side to what you're doing.
And I think, to anyone tuned in right now, to anyone wanting to start, to anyone wanting to give up, we're living in such uncertain times, and COVID has taught us one thing, that life is so uncertain. Everything that you do is so uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen and what's next going to present itself. So I feel that it's so important to love what you do, Najma, because the creative side comes, there's sides and spectrums of myself that I didn't even know existed. But I solely believe that boils down to, if you love what you do, you're never going to work a day in your life. And whatever you're going to do, if you're loving what you're doing, you're going to want to give not even 100, you're going to want to give 500% to whatever project you're undertaking, be it in whatever career spectrum. So be it creative, be it, in the corporate field, whatever it is that you're doing, I think the origination of the creativity will just come to the fore. So, love what you're doing. I think that's most important. Please love what you're doing.
Jazakallah khair for that very powerful last words, and your time, especially this morning, Sister Farzana Mayet, CEO of Panache. And again, we just see that from that little suburb that we all live in, we're just reaching out to the rest of the world in wonderful ways. So keep going, Farzana. It's been lovely talking to you this morning.
Jazakallah so much, Najma, for having me on your show, and Jazakallah to Salam Media for affording me the opportunity as well. Assalamu alaikum.
It's our pleasure. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Remember, after the break, we're off to New Zealand to to find out about Ramadan in New Zealand and Eid as well. It's already the last of the Monday edition of the program for the month of Ramadan. Of course, we'll resume with our normal programming after Eid, inshallah ta'ala. But of course, again, Brisbane too at 12:30. Be back after this.